Hi, everyone. I am Tara, aka Spirit Mother. I'd like to welcome you all to my channel. It's on YouTube. It is Spirit to Spirit Teachings of Going Within Self. And on my TikTok channel, it is 1974 Enlightened Souls. And I also go live on my Facebook. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're wondering what my channel is about, I direct people towards going to my YouTube channel, Spirit to Spirit Teachings of Going Within Self, and read my description. Today, I'm going to talk about setting boundaries. As we all know, setting boundaries can be very difficult, not like on a personal level, like the physical, the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of it. And sometimes it can be on a sexual, which is actually kind of towards the physical. There's a lot right now, and I have difficulties sometimes setting boundaries myself. And it's usually setting the boundaries with the ones that we love. Okay. I just got asked about my shirt. It's in memory of my nephew, my eldest son. My parents adopted him, and he, what have you, complicated story. But anyways, no, I don't call him my brother. But I'm not getting into that. Some of you may have watched one of my other videos with regards to it. Now, back to what I was saying. My oldest, he races at a local speedway. And a year and a half ago, I lost I lost my nephew. And I'm not going to get into a big detail with regards to some of that stuff. And I hope that people don't get offended, because I'm going to use it kind of as an example when it comes to setting boundaries. Because boundaries can be not just with other people, but boundaries within a system. Okay. And it's really difficult setting boundaries for ourselves in a personal way, boundaries towards others. It's even more difficult when we're setting boundaries with regards to a medical system or a justice system or a government system or any type of system like that. Okay. The boundaries get crossed a lot of the time because our boundaries aren't being respected, or we're not respecting other people's boundaries. So it works both ways. It's that part where right now I have hematite. The hematite actually, it helps to ground me, and it helps with the like really negative charge going through me. And I'm also using it because it helps to set boundaries. I'm a little nervous right now with regards to this topic in different ways, because it's the part of, like I said, it's hard to set boundaries with our families, and it's hard to set boundaries with systems and what have you, the things that are more closest to us, because we don't feel like we have to set boundaries with more or less with strangers, people we don't know. I find a lot when we feel an obligation, okay? And when we feel that obligation because a system says it like this is the right way, but it's actually not, because the right way, excuse me, is the way that feels comfortable for you. If something is making you feel uncomfortable, that's where we start to set boundaries. And I know it can be very difficult, especially when they're loved ones. Sometimes we find, like, I know some people, sorry, Rolly, setting boundaries. That's when you feel like you can't talk to the people. And that's one way of setting a boundary. But is it really the most efficient and the best way to set a boundary? Or is the best way to set a boundary by explaining to the person? And I know some people say, well, that doesn't always work. No, it doesn't. But if you keep giving in, then no, it's not going to work. I'm speaking spirit language. Our ancestors, our cosmic galactic family, and in order for me to be able to start coming into my oneness, I had to learn to set boundaries. And that was very difficult for me because I felt a lot of guilt if I didn't, or it was kind of sort of, we can be perceiving something ourselves before it's even happening. And then that's when you get to the point where you just start giving and people aren't asking for it. And when you keep giving, when people aren't asking for it, you're not setting boundaries on yourself. And that's a big part. Not just about setting boundaries on other people, but setting the boundaries on yourself. It's like asking ourselves why we're feeling like we have to do this, because I know it can become like a program. And when it's like a program, because it's an automatic thing, because you went your whole life doing it. So then when you start setting boundaries, people get frustrated with you. And then some don't even want to be your friend no more, or just don't want to have anything to do with you. Maybe it's because you're standing up in a way that people aren't used to. Because you're saying, okay, like everyone's saying you got to give to everybody else, but how much can you give if you can't even give to yourself? You're constantly giving away. So you're not replenishing. And then that's when you get taken advantage of. Because most, when they're feeling this, they're feeling like they have to set big boundaries. It's because you're in a very, you're an empath in different ways. Like an empath isn't just one way. You can be an empath of anything. Some feel energy from everything and everyone. Okay. Some feel like the empathic of what the weather is, with the animals, just different aspects. Okay. We have, they call it vegan, I guess. They don't need any animal product. Okay. It's because they have that feeling. I'm or some, I don't know how they call it, but some say that, like, for vegetarian, like I eat fish and eggs, and sometimes I'll have cream milk, but like for ice cream or something like that, but I rarely ever use milk. If I eat cheese, it's goat cheese. So I'm setting restrictive boundaries for myself. Sometimes I have that, the child, I take the child craving and I'll go for ice cream. That's usually what I like to go to. So it's setting your own personal boundaries, not, like I said, not just with others, but also with yourself, like being consistent with it, because it's that part that, like, we want change. And I was bad for it, where I'd start something, and I still do it, where I start something and I don't follow through. And when I don't follow through, well, that's on me. Like, especially like like when it's for me, or even when I'm putting boundaries on other people. When you start setting boundaries, you start, I just heard, becoming disciplined in a form, in a specific way of discipline, because you're having discipline within yourself to be able to follow through with what it is that you're setting boundaries on. And no, I don't do it all the time. I said, like, I'm going through this with everyone. It's like, holy shit, man. Like, I just heard shit balls. It's, and yeah, family members are the hardest, especially when they're your children. They are very difficult sometimes to turn down, because sometimes we look at our own life, our own situations, and then we say, well, I don't want for my kids what I had for me. Or sometimes people want for their kids what they had. Okay. But a lot of people, they'll say, like, I want my kid to have more than what I've had. Well, that's the part of asking yourself, did you feel like you didn't have enough because others maybe had too much? Because we come into a materialistic world. We come into different forms of belief systems, thinking that we have to have this, we have to have that. I got cat hair. Shedding big time. And that's the part where, like, we want to keep up with the Joneses. And sometimes we feel like people are putting it in our faces because we don't have this or we don't have that. And it happens a lot growing up in, like, when you're going to school. Even the parents feel like they have to have this for the kid, or they have to have that for the kid or child or what have you, because the kids down the road has it and they want their kids to fit in. Seriously, I'm going to tell you, when you do that, you're actually not doing your kids any favors, because we should be allowing them to be themselves. Because whether they fit in with that crowd that, they have the name brand clothes, then we wonder why when our kids get older, they want the best of everything and we just don't have the money for it. But that's the part where we get guilted. So not only do adults do it to one another, but, the children do it to the adults, because the adults teach them. So then we are in a society now where there's no actual boundaries. And some would say, oh, well, you just want to be politically correct. No, it's got nothing to do with being politically correct. It's that part that everybody lost their freaking, like, people lost their manners. They lost respect. And it's not about respect for one sex over the other, or what have you. It's about respect for each other. And it doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter how you speak, where you come from. We ourselves don't have the capability sometimes to set boundaries, because we've been so, I'll say it, warped into thinking one thing over another. Really. I should set a boundary on you. No, no, I wouldn't. I just was squeezing sometimes. Oh my gosh. They se levanta doing. Yeah, kuya. Saya sa kriana, sa kriana tu himere kung kumia siya na misa sa ki amo ko tayo na. Sikrian, toy. Kila pa to dore ta daya ta sun skiai. Shkale so kukuya to kuy. Yeah, I'm kukuya to kuy. No, this is live. I do this happens all the time. Even when I'm home alone, I am constantly channeling. Pikirem queria ta dañando tonem. Siento que shala sara scream tuk tuk tuk tuk tuk ta ta ting. Tikriya tukui. I said I'm speaking spirit. Well, spirit speaks through me. Shkomi skuni mukriya sko. Sky. Skele shkole griya. Kito to again. Tuk tuk tuk tuk tuk priketik tikya ataindik. Tukriya tuk shkuni to game. Jingam, does it bother me? No, not really. Just when I get pissed off. because because it does happen. The spirit gets frustrated with people. And it works through me. It doesn't. It's okay. Okay. The other day, okay, I experienced something. And this is where boundaries come in. Okay. How do I kiata? Scream, when I have parts just kind of not wanting to say, but at the same time wanting to say, because I believe it's the ego that doesn't want to say because it got a little heated. And when it got heated, it was somebody it was a verbal altercation on a high scale. And there was a lot coming out. And the person got in my face and started hollering at me. And I didn't back down. It was almost like two masculine energies kind of friction. So I bit back. And it became kind of a chest match. And I got shoved and I got back up. And I know it wouldn't happen because I know that it was experiencing something that wasn't it was kind of like to bring it forward. Because it's this part of when things can escalate when you don't set boundaries. Okay. And then when you start setting the boundaries, that's where you can get friction, especially right now, because we have a lot like the eclipse that went, the moons and the planets coming in alignment and what have you. It's like, holy shift. This guy, yes, hang on. We're in for this trippy ride. Because if you start seeing things that you can't explain, you're actually seeing it, the cabal or whatever they call it, what have you. Okay. They're saying that they come forward with regards to the supernatural, the paranormal. Okay. With boundaries, when you have this set boundaries, then it becomes less friction. And these two souls, spirits, what have you, that is happening right now, they go back a long time. And it's been a roller coaster for everyone, because we are aspects of them. And we're finding our way back to ourselves. And the way of doing that is by setting the boundaries for yourself and other people. Because then when you start setting the boundaries, you actually have more time for you. So when you have more time for yourself, you're able to sit with yourself. Whether you're a man or a woman, hop in the tub, Epsom salts, just take in like a calming light, not a bright light, just a calming light, have a candle lit, what have you, and just kind of lay there with yourself and just be with yourself. Feel your surroundings through your hands. And just kind of slightly move your hands. And this is what boundaries give you the ability to start doing, where you start actually connecting back with your own energies, opposed to always being connected to others and feeling like you're on a roller coaster, because I go there. Because I'll let my guard down on purpose. In many ways, sometimes it's just like kind of feeling and experiencing something, because a lot of time, and I'll say it, like I have people ask me, do you read cards? Do you do cards? Do you do readings? I do different types of readings. It's not about using cards. I am like a mirror. So if you need to, it's like if you need to reflect or like kind of hear yourself, I'm that type of reader. I read energies quite well when I allow myself to kind of let myself go. I allow it to happen, like I said. So, but I'm still learning to set boundaries with certain people, because I say no, or I like what have you. And then that guilt kind of sets in. It's like, nope, I'm not going to let them guilt me. It's like, if you want to ask me something nicely, opposed to saying you should do this, or, do this for me. It's like, you're not asking, you're telling me. So I've just set a boundary. So it's like, if you don't get a reply, well, maybe that's because of the way you approached it. That's a boundary that I have to set, because it's like, if we don't set boundaries with ourselves or each other, we walk all over ourselves, and we allow others to walk all over us. And I'm going to tell you that when we allow that to happen, the person that's doing it, we're actually not helping them in any way. We're actually hindering them, and we're enabling them to continue. And some say, oh, well, that person's just that way. Ask yourself, why is that person that way? Did we just keep enabling them and making excuses for it? Not like it. I'm not a goody goody because I loudly burp sometimes. I'll even freaking fart in a store. So it's like, and I know people say, well, that's not a goody goody. Like, that's got nothing to do with being goody goody. Like, everybody farts in a store. Well, I used to drink. I don't drink no more. Do I like to dance? I love to dance. Can I be a sarcastic? Can I go with the flow? Yes. Right now, I had to learn to set boundaries on myself, to discipline myself, to keep from repeating the same thing over and over again. And it's hard setting boundaries with systems because we rely on the systems the same as we rely on family members. It becomes a dependency. We look to somebody else to help us when we are very capable of helping ourselves if we get out of our own way. And we never want to do that because in order to get out of our own way, sometimes we have to trip over our own feet and fall flat in our face. And, how many people want a swollen lip? Well, it's like, ito ay sum. Kaya so koi. Kaya pili todo mi na in kwe ay shale asala so kuleria com ti puto. Si isain ay shulai klai ke koko Skaya it's torch game of Raya Gayana ay nakukuya sui. Sila kahatum. Ya kia ha right up tikom. Kira sa de ay siya. Si tuwi na ituguri mo kaya sa niyo tuguri ay. Tukoy. Siguro ay siya. This is live. No. I just got asked, like, do you get humiliated when you do? No. And if people get humiliated that know me because I do it, well, that's on you. I have to ask, like, why are you the one humiliated? Yeah, she's tripping. I heard that. Yeah. Right now, it's like the Kundalini, however you pronounce it, Kundalini. And it's the spiral, and some congregations don't like it, but they don't realize that it's written in the Bible. It's there. I have church people, like usually a pastor or what have you, doesn't understand when I speak. So they say, like, I still don't understand you. It's like, okay, So my way of setting boundaries is the part of not putting myself out there until they're actually ready to understand what it is that they're preaching. It's not throwing shade because I'm not religious and I don't have one specific religion. Some may say spirituality is a religion, but is it? Because it's actually the oneness. It's everything. It's everything together. It's all. It's like every religion is right in that sense. Depends on how you look at it when you go back beyond your biblical texts. I know, because when you go right back, you always have, in the beginning, the mother gives, a virgin mother gives birth to a child. Okay. And then it keeps repeating the story. It's like a lot of the similar characters are involved and some are more coming. Shifting. How do I do that? That looks trippy. It comes through the heart. It's it's like it creates its own frequency in different ways. Like certain ways, if I move, I can feel different vibrations within the body and in different places of the body. And I can describe where I'm actually experiencing it, because there, when I went like that, it was like it and up to the brain box. We are like an instrument. We're like a tuning fork. I mean, you clang it together. It's like when you clap, you make sounds. And people, guys, cool. I said it and I'll say it again. My channel is not for everyone. It's for the awakened, the ones that understand what they're witnessing and experiencing in many ways. And it can be confusing. I'll irritate you. I'll piss you off. Make you laugh, make you cry, depending on like where things go, because I just let it go, because I've learned that, like, if I fought it in different ways, that it was just going to cause harm to my body, within myself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because it would mean that I would be suppressing, and suppressing things are what's actually putting us in the state that we're in right now. We've suppressed everything so far that it becomes a massive fear. And it's a fear that systems put into place. So we don't set boundaries, because we look to them to set boundaries for us of what we need. And what we actually need is to listen to ourselves, spirit. Because when you do that, not only are you becoming one with yourself in that aspect, but you're becoming one with spirit itself. God is love. Love is God. Love is the infinite energy. And we've been created from that energy. And we've just been, over time, digressing in different ways. We say we evolved, but we've also, in the evolution, we've digressed to a point where we lost connection with the oneness. We lost connection with God, with source, with the energy that we came from. And I know this sounds Looney Tune, you know. I was 17 in the psychiatric unit singing, we're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony. And in this cartoony, we're invading your TV. You know, they weren't lying, they're invading your TV. You see, go ahead. So the boundaries of setting for yourself and others, TV, like programming. Allow nature and actual communication without going through these contraptions, because everything can get miscued. Because I know that sometimes I will use the voice command, and I'll say something in it. And I'll go back to read what I wrote, and it's not even what I said. So it's that part. And it's all in the way somebody else reads it. What type of situation brought it about? Because I know I write text messages to somebody, and it's when they've just really freaking really friggin' irked me. And it's not because I jump or what have you. It's just, I was not one to jump down someone's throat for just any old reason. And I can't even say that I really did it all the time when I was PMSing either. Yes. Because just so you know, like, men may not get their period, but they can actually experience PMS from the woman. Some wouldn't believe that, and maybe even a professional doctor. And I'm not throwing shade on them all. I'm saying that happens. We had the past 4 years has felt like it's been kicking people's asses because of all the stuff that's taken place. One of the biggest things, and I don't care if, like, you take my channel from me, because if you do, it just goes to show. It's a spirit to spirit, and they know who I'm talking to. When the thing about the COVID-19 and vaccines were taking place, okay, I'm not putting out fear mongering. A lot of people felt guilted by a system, felt manipulated by a system. Some lost their jobs, some lost their family members, friends. Because of this. And some lost their lives because there wasn't enough of us saying that, we put boundaries on this. Because what it actually was, well, I'm going to say it, crimes against humanity. And not only was it crimes against humanity, but, it was, felt like blackmail. It was very corrupt the way it took place. And people lost their lives because of what they were putting in the body. You weren't forced, but you were manipulated. But we don't want to look at it that way, because it was being told to us that it was our patriotic duty and it was to save our loved ones. But in many other cases, it worked the opposite way. Because in ways like Paradoxus, I think it was called. I'm not going to get into big details, but this was the part of when we learned to set boundaries. And sometimes we feel manipulated, even if we feel one way or another. If we don't want to get it, we feel obligated. And my nephew was 30. And he passed away at home. With this hits home, and I know it's hitting home for others. He left behind a common law wife and a child and a mother and a father and a sister. And I can't imagine how they feel. And that's where we rely on a system. But it guilts us, so we fall back. Even if we want to set that boundary, we kind of fall back. I feel this screaming right now. By not setting boundaries, we're not doing ourselves or anyone else a favor. Because in that process, we're draining each other. If we don't know how to be within our own energy, we drain each other. We become tired, irritated, because we pick up on each other's feelings, because that's why we're left wondering, well, why did that happen? Well, it happened because you were actually mirroring the other person. You were picking up on it and experiencing them. So we take on, it's like we're taking on each other's feelings and not knowing it. And that's the spirit to spirit. Because we're all sorting out. What do I mean by spirit to spirit? Spirit is everywhere, okay? But spirit experiences itself through us. And sometimes spirit has a beef with another spirit of itself. And it's a reflection. Because we're all trying to sort ourselves out. That's why I tell people sometimes, like, if you're struggling with something, and it's like talking to other people and stuff don't work. Okay. Try doing this. Going on your own video, doesn't have to be live or put up or anything like that. Do it, even just do it for yourself and keep it. And then refer back to it, give it a title of what you want to call it, as if you are the therapist and you are talking to someone in need of working through something, someone needing advice. It's like, what advice would you give? So what advice would you give that person if they were in the same situation you were in? I'll tell you right now, it does wonders, because you're actually telling your higher self is actually telling you off. Spirit is telling you also, not just what you're putting out, like what you're putting out there as if it was to somebody else, but that's spirit telling it to you. Oh gosh, yeah. It's like almost like a tightening within the chest and a release. It's that it can feel like a heaviness. It's energy moving, shifting. No, I don't have my music on this time. Spirit directed me not to, because like sometimes the music can actually interfere with what I'm doing. Like I'll use frequencies sometimes too. And right now it's the part where it's just the only being with spirit and with like yeah. It's clearing the throat chakra. So if it happens like that, it's spirit's clearing the throat chakra, because there's many people that want to speak the truth, many people that want to come forward, and fear of what others may think. Sometimes we may come off as real ignorant on feeling. And I know that happens to me sometimes. And sometimes it's because we get to that point within ourselves as we're shifting. So we have less tolerance to get the goya. Kokokokokoe. Skim. Tuturis series series gris gris kutukuria plitukokia. Skurieta. Clearing fear, the kim, the cree kokoi. Because it gets intense. I don't read it, like right now, I don't read a lot of the comments because it's kind of just going with it. Infinite blindness. You're only as weak as you perceive yourself to be. Strength comes from finding and seeing our darkness, the stuff that we don't want to look at, the stuff that we've suppressed for so long. And doing a video is actually a good way to get things out because you can actually speak your feelings and then go back and listen to yourself and then know what you're really feeling. That's right. If Marie, I'm going to ask you, okay? You're asking, am I going to make it through my addiction problem? Okay. Do you want to make it through your addiction problem? Then that's the first start. Do you say you want to get rid of your addiction problem? So it's just taking the steps that you need to take in order to see yourself where you want to see yourself. It's a visualization. It's seeing it for you. Not listening to what other people say about what's written one place or another. It's about what's here. Because your answers are there. Bringing it forward because there's a reason. If you have an addiction, there's a reason why you have the addiction. And it's just finding out why you have the addiction and going from there. Could be like surrendering to the inner child. What's it doing to the inner child? Because I know sometimes if I feel like I'm suppressing my inner child or I'm around and I feel it's like I'm feeling somebody else suppress their inner child. When I'm feeling that, what I'm actually feeling is a scream. It's hope. We have hope down here because we are not facing our own truths. We don't want our own stories to be told in certain ways. And we really keep it suppressed. But, the filing cabinet, it's time to allow the filing cabinet to sort itself out so that we can get rid of those old files. It's like seeing where there's a puzzle piece that it's just not, it no longer fits with what you're moving towards. I know some people, they don't like believe in crystals and, oh, that's this and that's that, and I'm a witch, burn me. Oh wait, you already did. I use hematite. Hematite actually helps with many different things, because a lot of our stuff comes from, if you have like anxiety will create addictions. But it's being able to set that boundary with yourself. Okay, say you have an addiction. Okay, one day take less than what you were taking the day before. But it's a part of being consistent with yourself and doing it a couple of days and then lessening it again. Even if it's by a shot, you're still lessening it by a day. And in the process, it's going within ourselves, because I had to do it. I had to clean myself out. And it wasn't fun, man. It's like your body just, oh, crap. Holy shit, man. Right, stop now. But once you connect with the knowing that you are protected, you are there are people, there are spirits there to help guide you through, you get the negative feeling. And when you get that, that's what's keeping you, that's what keeps us in a lower state. And sometimes we loathe ourselves, because I have. But it's all because we didn't set boundaries. And it starts from a young age. Because like I said, sometimes it's that being expected. Yes, I found it very hard to set boundaries. I started like kind of speaking up to the medical system. I just stopped with the medical system basically altogether. And I went to crystals, and I went to energy healing. I haven't been there in a while, but I've been like trying to focus on how to do it myself, so that I'm able to help to teach others, even if like you're getting it through here. I know that I'm teaching someone or guiding someone or helping someone. It's like fine tuning. Do you ever just get that, like the quiet sound in your brain, and you got that frequency going? It's like, oh, it's like sometimes it gets really loud, and others just say, oh, well, that's tinnitus, so you got brain damage. Had brain damage. But spirit taught me how to heal it, how to believe in myself. No, I don't take medication. Last year, I went and they gave me this pill, and I felt like I didn't take any after that. Because I had a lot of anxiety, and I was going through let's just say, a trippy event. But it's moving on from it because it's seeing something or like experiencing something. Yeah. I just heard someone say electroshock therapy. I don't recommend that. Because my mom had that and she was never the same. And when I was in the psychiatric unit in 99, there was a gentleman in there and they were giving it to him and he was not the same. That's another, being able to set a boundary, because we don't get alternate choices, at least none that they'll cover, because, oh, well, you know, holy shit, man, this is voodoo. Oh, wow. Holy crap, man. Ooh. It's a pitch. It's a frequency. Right now, there's in the system, there's a lot of different man-made laws of what they're saying, that the laws are being made up as they go. So it's that part of it's like changing the game. It's like when people go on the internet and they look for the cheats. And it's like, somebody's not playing fair. And I just was catching, life's not fair. Well, you know what? Life was always supposed to be fair. Because of a lack of boundaries, people have become ignorant and greedy. It's not a bad thing if you have something, okay? That is just so right out there, because everyone is supposed to have abundance. Everyone is supposed to be abundant. So if everyone is supposed to be abundant, then why are we saying life is not fair? I know it doesn't appear fair, but that's only because we are not setting the boundaries on what's not fair. And it's not about getting angry at a certain person down the road because they have more than you. It's looking at the system, not so much the people, but the system. And I know people run the system in that sense. But see, we're looking at a surface opposed to going and looking what's within. And the within is parts of going within ourselves, going within and seeing a system from the inside out, the connection. Yeah, I got the right here. Yeah. It's the throat chakra. Yeah, I feel it. It's like a energy going up within the throat chakra, and it gets there and it sits. And so it feels like sometimes it almost feels like a lump, but it feels like I was about to say a hooker. I did. I was about to say that when it was coming up, and I had like, in all honesty, once I said that I was about to say hawker, it cleared. Grato. It's going. Head shake, man. It's moving. Sorry, I got to do this. It helps it. I look weird, but it feels good. Yeah, it literally. I know they say shaking your skull. Well, maybe, maybe I don't really have a brain in there, and I'm just spreading air. Because I will be honest. Sometimes I feel like a real airhead, and I know nothing. But that's because I'm deprogrammed. It's like taking out what just doesn't seem right, and not because people say, well, you're not living in reality, but because I'm going I'm in university right now, and I'm taking a couple I'm taking a couple of courses, and in one of them, Stars and Galaxies, as he's talking, in my notes, I'm writing stuff that resembles a human body. And they say we're the universe, we're our own universe, what have you. And then in my Killing and Letting Die course, philosophy, it's I'm taking it in, and I'm looking at it like it's so confusing. And it's like I'm thinking, everybody, like, we're making this more complicating than what it needs to be. It's a lot of it's a lot of stuff within everyone's brain feeling one way or another. And it's not that there's any one right way. It's what is that person experiencing? It's we have free will, and it's not always abided by, because it can be free will. I mean, we have free will, but free will has been being manipulated, because it's been manipulated with the things that are of necessity in order to function, to have life. Some are actually able now to really not eat a whole lot, if any. But then there's the ones that rely on a food source. Or the medical stuff. We rely on the justice system. I feel we should be preventing it before it even happening. So it's not about, like, yeah, I'm just okay. Yeah. With, yeah, I know. Working to prevent things from happening instead of them happening. And then it just, because we're saying about money. Okay. That's about like the money that goes into the systems. If they put that money into helping the people opposed to paying a system, then we live in a whole other world, a whole different world, because you'd have the things, access to the stuff that helps, that really helps. It's not about like cutting somebody open. And there are people out there who can actually heal someone just by laying their hand on them. But that's the belief that, yes, people say Jesus. Yes, it was Jesus. But there were also others before him, and before him, and before him, and before him. Because it's been here. It's nothing new. It's no new age, like they say. It's always been here. Only systems have suppressed it. And I'm feeling that right in here. It's like, we ourselves are able to change it. And it comes with setting boundaries. Not limited, because we limit ourselves because we don't set boundaries. We're always feeling, well, we want to do something good because it's the right thing to do. Yes. But it's that question too. Are you helping yourself to keep your cup full, so it makes it easier on you to be able to help others? It's not about going to an affiliation and giving 10% of your income. Wait a minute. Aren't you already giving 75% of your income on taxes? And these affiliations, they don't got to pay taxes, but you have to. And you've paid taxes on that money that you just gave away. And I know it's not about the money, but people look at money as their saving grace. Because in the society we live in now, it's that we need money. I got a duck up in my driveway. Yeah, there's a pond outside my window. Yes, I have a lot of gratitude, and I'm very blessed to have what I have around. I mean, I will say it in parts it looks like a disaster area, but I know the beauty and the potential that it has, and I like just being able to look out and the pond be there and the ducks, and right now there's a couple geese, and I get deer that walk around. So I'm blessed in that way. And I have a lot of yard to walk around in if I wanted to. Another thing, I just heard food, boundaries with food. Yes. Because some of us have sugar addictions, just different sorts of food addictions. And that's another addiction, setting boundaries within it, just changing something one day, and then just keep changing it as time goes. Because also when you get the sugar out of your body, you feel lighter, you feel healthier, and you actually feel the natural energy rush, opposed to one that is just an instant rush and then you come crashing. Whereas with this, you don't get an instant rush where you come crashing. You put it as if you get an even. And sometimes if you just feel like you can give yourself that quick rush, because if you can go from your heart space, or if you can align all your kundalini, all your kundalini with the chakras, if you can align all of them, then it it does. It releases a lot. And it goes up and it's like, just even doing that, it's getting one with yourself. And I'm telling you, when you start setting boundaries, you'll feel a heck of a lot better. It may hurt in the beginning because your ego is saying, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. Just tell it's okay. We need to do this. Oh, that felt good. It was like this. It is. It's like almost like a spiral. But if you think of Nikola Tesla, the coil. Oh, that's bad. But it's not. It's all being knowing yourself. And you do get kind of interference. And when you just just slightly start moving your hands, because your hands and your energy connect, because you're within your energy field. I guess you could say, think of the sun. Think of the stars. How do planets work? If you were your own universe, then if you know your body, if you know your spirit, if you know your soul, then you know the universe. And you know how to heal yourself. I feel it's like a calmness. And some days I'm not real calm. Some days I can, come off as a real bitch or asshole. And some could say that you have multiple personalities. Well, when you're working with spirit, you might want to it's like knowing that when you're working with spirit, you're going to appear that you have multiple personalities. This could I. It's like you look like you're on a roller coaster, but when you actually know what you're experiencing and you allow yourself to flow through it, and sometimes I try to understand it, but sometimes when I try to understand, I only piss myself off because I'm trying to overthink it or overanalyze it instead of just realizing that I work with spirit. And it's okay because it's experiencing the feelings. It's experiencing different aspects of spirit through all the different personalities. Because we all go through it in one way or another. Because is it you experiencing spirit, or is it spirit experiencing you? Or is it both? You're experiencing each other because you are spirit. Just different forms because it's energy. Oh. My topics get trippy sometimes. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, holy crap, man, you're really doing this? But I can't come in here and not be authentic. And when I'm not being authentic, I can feel that. And I catch it. It's like, wait a minute. Program, because when it's programmed, it comes out kind of like in a monotone. One way of speaking. Let me tell you a story. It's like, I don't want a monologue. Yeah. Usukas kumakai mutuea shalebiyeso. Sikuya kuk. Kide tuturita esa taken. Tiketote. Tisikurebera shanamanesa keesa. Sia kuya shanami. Kuya create tupki. Sikuya. Seria sabkia toy. Kimushaleme se. Sia sutai. Kira tuturea. Ora maneam bagiaita sicurita turita tarita taina. Shlesukuem kietuai. Sukuem. Grete. No. It's like, oh wow. Yeah. Right now I'm feeling a lot of, it's like heart, like chakra release. So if I sit and I just don't say anything, it's because I'm connected. And my videos may not resonate with everyone. I have my hands like this because it helps to center, because we have if spirit is everywhere, right? Okay, so when we have spirits around us, we all are receivers, and we all channel out, and we all are kind of like a medium. We just don't understand it. And sometimes when we get that heavy energy on us, it comes to us to channel through us different messages, or what have you, just different things, even if it's just for one thing or another. And when they all come in at once, it's kind of like making a space for your own energy, because you're in the center, you're balanced, so you're pushing out evenly on both sides. See, I had someone tell me that I shouldn't be doing this through videos, because this language is for me and God. And that's why I say, like, if this language is for me and God, me and spirit, then this language is meant to be shared, because we're all forms of spirit. So we're speaking to spirit. What she's staring at, yeah. I'm just kind of, well, not kind of, I'm centered in the energy. It's like a force field. You create your own force field, but you can create a force field in two ways. It can be a force field that suppresses you, or it can be a force field that helps you to expand. And as you learn to grow physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, that would fall under physical. It's like the calmness. When you have the calmness, you feel like air. Seja socorro. Psiquiatra. Korea. Korea. I'm in a calm. Yeah. Şöyle şuraya. Ya da buraya koyuyorum. Si tu te dai seria şuraya koyada. En minuto de essere kudoe tu imfri seria yeshra seria sohuya ikohan. Sikia yeshra. Kwe na kaitaina. Sikia boreai. Tetria sa tutu isirian. Şübleseri buraya kakit tuyin. It's forms of meditation. The forms that I find most comfortable. I sit in a calm. But most of the time, it's like just being able to connect with myself and shift my energies. Shift away. My body connects with we all feel it, we just don't realize that we do until you actually allow yourself to. It's like if you look at the if on a hot day or day and you kind of look at the sun, or like you look at it's a sunny day and you're looking out and say you look on the yard or what have you, see kind of like waves. You say they're heat waves, well, you're actually seeing energy. So if you're seeing the energy, why do you think you're feeling it all around you? But to be able to just center with you and the energy within your own field, it makes meditation a lot easier, and it makes you able to, not just do it by sitting with yourself all the time, but you learn how to do it out and about, even when you're walking, because it's all about being able to be with your oneness and feel your own energy as you move. It's like, yeah, you're your own best friend, but you're also your own worst enemy. Kita tayo sa. It's like, but, you know, some critics will say, no, we're not. But, you know, yeah, we are until we become balanced. It's because I'm with my energy. It's like, yeah, I heard somebody say like Sally putty, silly putty, or something like that. Like when you're just kind of like massage to stretch it out, you're just kind of not only with this, you're moving your force field. Don't they say the earth has a force field? You know, we're all made from stardust. So isn't stardust like each piece of stardust create an earth? So like you're an earth, you're a planet, your whole body is the planet, you're the universe and the planets and all what have you is within you. Am. Yeah. Again. Di re esue sa se suki aishale sa kyun kwe e tori taire sare kuma miki ai no yashana saki ale tutori. It helps your spirit feel free. It's like it's like dancing with yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And you can actually I'm like it is a physical aspect of it, but like we're all adults, it can create your own physical attraction within yourself. Iskremo today. Sometimes they don't hardly blink, but yeah, I feel this eye twitching. That is it. I know some people don't understand the language, and you know that's okay. Your spirit does. That's why sometimes you can get irritated by me. Because those two spirits have a beef with one another. It's true. I'll say it again. Like, you know, you go into a store and you just feel like this person next to you or coming down the aisle rubs you the wrong way. Well, it's because those two spirits are feeling each other. They're different aspects of spirit, but they've come in contact in previous now forms of time. Sometimes I say it's like it's like it appears that they're like jumpers, and it's like they're trying to find their rightful spot. They're trying to find their way home, and they use people to help them find their way home. There's that third chakra again. Yeah. It's a release. It's like asking ourselves, why we feel angry, asking ourselves, why are we saying, why does, like, how did this person get that? Or how did that person get this? Okay. And I know people that do that. Not anymore, I don't. Sometimes I speculate on it. But sometimes I also bring something into a conversation that then later irritates someone because I said something that they don't quite agree with, or I said something that offended them with regards to something that they were already offending. If that makes sense. Basically, I don't even want to talk English anymore. There's a release taking place right now. It's like chakras are opening. So if chakras are opening, the earth is opening. It's breathing. So as it breathes and releases, things are actually able to grow. And when we're all connected, we're able to grow. I hear the frogs and the crickets at the pond. It's very peaceful for the most part. Like when you get up in the morning, you just go outside and you hear the birds, you see the ducks. Being in nature is one of the best things. I like being around people, but I like being in nature too. I'm a city, okay, country slicker. Because I like being in the city sometimes, but I love being out in the country. City to me, it has conveniences, but I find like more country, it gives you the space to breathe. And right now, like it's seems like things are overpopulated, but it's only because we're shoved in wrong. We're put together wrong. Things are not built right. And everybody is at a point where, we're becoming that we had enough because we didn't set the boundaries. So we're blowing up. And some more than others. And I'm one of them. because you let things, you let things slip. And then that's like, I'm working with somebody right now, and I know like how they were when they were a kid, and it wasn't like the wrong kind of approach is taken. And sometimes like we even take advantage of our kids, and then we blame them for the way they are. We say that, oh, well, I hope when you grow up, you have kids that act just like you. Well, I had somebody say that to me, and it sort of backfired because, they adopted them. So he's very lot like me in many similar ways, and he's different in other ways, but he's very similar. And tonight, yes, I said that I was going, I think I said that I was going to watch him race. He races lightning or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but it's at a local speedway. And he was like 4 or 5 cars back, somewhere around there, between 3 and 5, maybe. Not totally sure. But he moved up, and there was like 20 some cars, I think. And he moved up and got in 6th place. So that was pretty cool. I liked watching that happen. Ow, shoot, Rolly. You got to jump. You got to jump, man. So tonight at the races, it was very nice. I liked it. I didn't like the noise, but I sat down front with 2 of my great nieces. We sat down front, and we made faces at each other and screamed at our cars like vroom. So I love being around kids to be a kid, because kids they're there to bring the best out in us. And we all need to be a kid. And the best way to becoming that kid again is lifting some of the stuff that we do on the kids, and learning how to be a kid ourselves again, because that's where we create from. Our children are the children create. We grow up and we create. And everyone is a creator. Even if you think that you didn't physically put anything into existence, like I was, okay. Maybe you didn't create this pen, but you created something else. When you write something down, if it's not out of a book or anything like that, you're creating something. When I'm doing something, it doesn't feel right. Like it's like knowing where something doesn't fit. So you see it or you experience it before it happens, or like sometimes it's when you put it together and it just doesn't fit. Que today is today. You should have. Right now I have it's like a yeah, conversation. Yeah. So everyone's sorting things out. And that's why my channel is Spirit to Spirit, teachings of going within self. Because I go within myself and I do it all the time. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to, and I don't overthink everything. Sometimes I try to make excuses. If that's the right way to put it. And that becomes, when we're making excuses, that's the part of fake it. They say fake it till you make it. Well, you keep faking it and you keep faking it. But you feel like you're not getting nowhere. Well, the problem is because you're only faking it. You're not trying to get anywhere. It's like, don't fake it till you make it. Keep doing it until you get there. And then keep going. Set another destination. I have my destination set, and then it's just going to keep going. Because we're all here to make a difference. We're not here to struggle. We're not here to suffer, and that's what it's been feeling like. For many of us, for a very long time, all of us. Because we've all experienced it. Whether in this now, or another version of now, on this planet, another planet, this universe, another universe. It's like going from one house to the next. It feels like even just putting a frequency on, like YouTube, nature sounds. Because a lot of times certain things can actually calm your mind. If people say they're ADHD, what you need to do is like you're constantly creating, so you need to calm your mind. You need to be with yourself, sit with yourself, so that you can center on what it is that you're really trying to focus on. Because as an ADHD person, you actually have a lot of spirit coming at you, and it's giving you so many ideas. You feel like you're pulled all over, or you're just going so fast. It's because you're constantly channeling other spirits that are being heard. That's why sometimes things come out of our mouth that we're left wondering, what the fuck? Excuse my French, or not. Comment dit som? Oh my gosh. energy flow. It's like, too bad I couldn't put all this energy into my gas tank. Then I wouldn't have to pay for gas today. Free energy. Give it to us now. Wait, we are the free energy. We just got to break through. Did anybody ever see, like, there was a thing that was going around on Facebook. It was like an article from back in the early 1900s where they had people individually standing inside this bubble. Okay. Do you know how they say that news is fake, but they have to, through things, they have to put the truth out there? Okay. See, when I look at that, okay, yes, that was there. Okay. And it had the bubble machine. Okay. Where people were, it was like a bubble car, but you were standing up, a scooter or what have you, something like that. And they have a bubble, but your aura, your energy field is the bubble. I'm, that's my channel's not for everyone, unless you want a good laugh sometimes, or, you just need to rage at someone. Release. Kirai. Ukoi. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like download. Ooh, man. No. Have you ever touched a crystal? Okay. And just felt like almost like an electrical charge go through your body? Okay. I take that as a confirmation. It's like, whoa. Yeah, I did. But it was like, ting, they cut off my horn. Okay. No, I know. Like, it's, I told the spirit has different personalities. And maybe if I have different personalities and multiple personalities, I'm well aware of them. I'm Kukoi. Oh, wow. Holy crap. Okay. I'm going to tell you what it was in. It's oh, like it's it's like a heart chakra energy, so it's like, I think, and it's fun, it's like happy, it's cheerful, so it's the experience of it forming. And all the different things that it was before it made it to its way, because it originally had to start with stardust. Skiete. Tisumuyai. Korabara tutura tatadem. Shukesa kukuya de margaya gareta. Say we're crazy. Well, the crazy thing is not believing that this stuff exists when it's all around us. Only we're told that it's not there. Oh crap, man. So I was asked before about doing this. And right from the beginning, I knew that whatever I was doing, I was doing for spirit. So if I'm doing it for spirit, I'm doing it for everyone, but I was doing it for myself because it's that part of owing it to yourself and not giving up on yourself just because you perceive that others have. Maybe it's that part where things happened and then we gave up on ourselves. So we had the illusion that others were giving up on us because that was what we put out there. Because previously we didn't set boundaries because we kept going over the same thing and doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. No headphones. I'm actually and no, I don't have a chip in my head. Well, if I had a chip around, well, no, then that would be in my ear because I was going to say if I had a chip around me, I'd just stick it in my ear and then say, okay, I got a chip in my head. I know I'm not funny. Sometimes I make myself laugh, but that's only because you laugh at your own jokes. Sikriyabriyam. Ikarututoriay to ito isayam. Kisutoy. Spirit to spirit. Tiskatotom. Yung salay sa kligay ko kuwain. Ito ko yan. O sikriyo. I'm good. It's not always like it's like getting You know, we need to start asking our kids more questions about stuff that we want to know about, but we get it from adults, like different platforms. We need to ask our children what they think. And when we ask those questions, like recording them and then or listening to their answers, recording them, and then go look things up. Okay. Kids know no boundaries. They're taught boundaries. So when we're taught boundaries in some forms, we're taught to suppress some of our limitations. And then there's boundaries of having someone walk all over you and leave you feeling like you're less than what you are. Because that's why people do it. It's because there's no boundaries. You don't set no boundaries. It's like a kid likes to have rules because it's consistency. It's like you care. Not only do you care about them, but you care about yourself. And when you're not setting boundaries, so those people see that, oh, I can push this person around. And that part, maybe he's trying to teach us that it's time we learn to set boundaries. Kitotoreai. Shimesikum kukiai no tutur srea sarea secreto taeton. So we're at 2:08 right now. I'm going to yeah, I don't take compliments. I don't take compliments well. I was honest about it. That's one of my. It's one of my challenges. It was one of the things where I didn't set boundaries for myself or set boundaries for others and left myself feeling the way I did because I didn't set the boundaries. I appreciate compliment. I have a hard time accepting compliments. And I'll tell you right now, my spirit team and my guides and angels I don't know how to take a compliment for the most part. I can feel that because I can't take a compliment well. No, I feel it does get in the way sometimes of being able to be honest within myself and like being able to accept myself that, okay, yeah, like I have good qualities. It was just that programming as if like you're nothing in certain ways. And some parts of me want to right now, like, because I always wanted to experience university, and I'm experiencing it now. And I got frustrated, like I said, in Killing and Letting Die, my philosophy class, because it was like everyone's overthinking. They're overanalyzing everything. And instead of seeing it for what it is, by cross-referencing and looking at different point of views, different aspects, what have you, it's like, don't just necessarily look at what's right in front of your face. Because if you keep looking at what's right in front of your face, you're not going to see what's over here. You're only seeing what's in your picture. So if you're not looking over here and you just tunnel vision, you're only seeing what's here. So it's like when somebody's looking for something, sometimes they're not looking in the exterior picture of it. They're just looking in that one spot, but they're going like this. I know, because sometimes you can go over something and I know that it's like changing your frequency, but it's like when you're honing, you're scanning. And when you're scanning, sometimes you can shift your perception. When you shift your perception, you're actually shifting to sort of another version of the, a parallel world, as Bashar put it. But it's like another version of yourself, even for that, like those minutes that are there, you're kind of lost because you've stepped out, but you're in just a different version of you, and you're doing the same thing at the same time. So it's that mirror aspect. So like one version of you might have said it in one place and the other version of you said it in another place. And when you go, it's not there. Because it's different versions of the now too. It's still trippy trying to wrap my head around it sometimes, yes. But, as I work through things, it becomes easier, because I don't say deal with things. Because it's not about, you can't just deal with it. It's like same as somebody saying, get over it. It's like, no, it's not about dealing with it or getting over it. It's about working through it. Working through it so, those pieces of that file no longer have to be there. Because it's no longer, it's parts of you, but it's not the parts that make you who you truly are. It's the parts that actually hinder you from being who you truly are. Sugayito. Well, hello to you too, Plant. Si köşede senemi. İki tutoriye. Kiriya. Vibrating for a bit. They like their frequencies too. Deshuesruya. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Okay. Well, thank you for coming in and for the likes and shares or what have you. I didn't come here for your likes. I didn't come here for the shares. I really appreciate them. And I didn't come for your money or your follows or gifts or anything. Because it's like put it on yourself. Use it to pamper yourself. Great opportunities to help others seldom comes, but small ones surround us every day. So it's for every small gesture, because when you try, every time we try to make big things, it sets us back. So it's the smallest things that matter most. Those are the biggest parts. And then it all starts. Oh, it all starts coming together. So with that being said, I'm sending you all much love, light, many blessings, most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone wanting, willing to receive and accept. I want you all to be big, bold, brave. Most importantly, be yourself, be your authentic self. Be true to yourself, be true to others. When being yourself, be who you are, not who somebody says you are or you have to be. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and know that you are more powerful and you have more strength than you can comprehend at times. Hope you all had a great weekend and that you enjoyed your long weekend, because there's one more day. Love you all. Gutom. Yeah, my finger's not working again. Shit. I'm hit. Oh, there we go. See you later.